Hello friends, welcome to another new episode of Techie Tuesdays. I'm your host S. Ravi Kumar. Techie Tuesdays is a weekly show where I answer your tech and career related queries. So if you like my answers, then please hit that like button, subscribe to my channel and share this video with your friends, family and colleagues. Now let's get started with today's questions. Today's first question is by Ebiam Velaquiz. He's asking, what are micro frontends? Ebiam, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. So Ebiam, to answer your question, micro frontends are basically the extension of microservices on the front end side. So we know microservices are basically self-contained web services which can be like a single team can manage the development of that complete web service or API in the form of microservices. So similarly, the similar concept when implemented in creating front end is called micro front end. The idea behind micro front-end is to think the website or web application as a composition of features which can be owned by independent teams or people who are expert in that business framework. Let's say you are creating an e-commerce application. So in e-commerce application, user management section will be handled by a completely separate team, and the UI related to user management section or the UI components or pages or anything related to user management section will be created by a separate team. That would be one complete micro front end, that is user management front end. Then another one would be a payment gateway front end or payment gateway integration front end. That would be again another micro front end. So basically what we are doing is we are separating all the business, all the website into small UI, separate independent UI components which can be combined together in the form of a web application. So in simple term, micro frontends are basically a way to implement separation of concerns in user interface by implementing separate components related to one particular functionality which is handled by a particular team or a particular team of experts. Next question is by Sarthak Sharma. He's asking, why should I learn .NET in 2022? Sarthak, why you should do something or why you should learn something is personally based on your personal choices and preferences. But when it comes to learning new technology, your decision should be based on following factors. And I will explain these factors with respect to .NET Framework, that how .NET Framework successfully fulfill all these factors. The first factor is that the technology or framework should be there in market for a subsequent amount of time or longer period of time, which of course .NET is. .NET is there in market since last 20 years. And it has evolved in last 20 years from just a Windows only framework to a cross-platform framework. The second factor would be that there should be large community and tools support for that framework. .NET wins here also, as every month more than 1 million new developers start learning .NET Framework, and there are already millions of developers who have developed their products and services and tools using .NET Framework. So if you just search for awesome.net, you will get the curated list of so many .NET application build which are open source, and you can also go to .NET Foundation site. There you will see so many .NET based applications. So .NET fulfills the second criteria also, that it has very large community and tool support. The third criteria should be that the language or framework should be versatile. By versatile, I mean that it should have capability to build different kind of application, not just only one kind of application like web applications. You know, .NET is so versatile that you can build mobile, desktop, web, IoT, games, all of these kind of applications using just one language, that is C# and one framework, that is .NET. For more information, see my another video. I will put that in the I description or somewhere in the description. You can see that video where I have explained the immense capabilities of .NET Framework. I will give the link of both English and Hindi video. Fourth criteria should be that it should be backed or funded by any large corporation, so that you should get support in that language for longer period of time. And of course, .NET fulfills this also, as it is backed by .NET Foundation as well as Microsoft. Next question is by Ranjan Kumar. He is asking, what is the goal of a DevOps methodology? Money, my dear friend Ranjan, money. So the main goal of using any methodology in a business is basically cost saving and increase profit margins. So it comes down to money. See, DevOps methodology is basically the name given to the process of automation of deployment to decrease the development cycle and time to release. Some people may say that DevOps is basically the integration of development and operations and mixing all the processes and this and that. But in my opinion and what I have seen from the industry, it's just a process given to implementing automation of the deployment process. So what people do in DevOps team is they just create CI/CD pipelines and they check that whether people follow these CI/CD pipelines strictly or not. And these CI/CD pipelines take care of all the things like automated unit testing, automated your deployment, automated code coverage testing. So it creates all the metrics, required metrics to analyze code, and it basically decreases the development time. It saves the time of finding errors. So all the purpose of implementing all this automation of CI/CD and all the DevOps methodology is to cost save, to decrease time to market or time to deploy a product into the market. So as I said in the beginning, it all comes down to saving money. So the main goal of DevOps methodology is, of course, cost saving and increasing profit margins. Next question is by Ajay Dahiya. He's asking, how many languages should a web developer know in 2021-22? Ajay, a good web developer is not identified by the number of technology or number of languages he knows, but by quality of products he built. However, it primarily depends on what kind of web developer you want to become, whether you want to become a front-end developer or whether you want to become a back-end developer, which web development framework you are using for development, like are you using Mean Stack, are you using Mern Stack, are you using any other stack, or what kind of framework you are using for web development. I have already created a video about what all languages should a full stack .NET developer should know apart from C#. So for becoming a full stack .NET web developer, you should of course know about C#, but apart from C#, you should also know about some other languages. I have created a detailed video about that. I will put the link of that video in the description of this video also. However, let me summarize it here also. So if you want to just become a front-end developer using .NET, then you should know a little bit about HTML, CSS and JavaScript, along with .NET based front-end technologies like ASP.NET MVC or Blazor. If you want to become a backend developer in C# and .NET, then you should just know about LINQ and SQL, that is structured query language for data manipulation, and then you should just know about C# and .NET. That one would suffice for becoming a backend .NET web developer. And if you want to become a full stack .NET web developer, then of course you should know about all of these things, that is HTML, CSS, JavaScript, LINQ and SQL. Next question is by Gyanendra Pratap Singh. He's asking, what language has more jobs in the Indian market, Java or .NET? I am in a program and they are offering these two. Gyanendra, my answer will always be biased towards .NET since I am working in .NET technology since last 18-20 years. However, that doesn't mean that there are no jobs in Java. So the best way to identify this would be that you go on any job portal and just type Java, then see the results of how many job openings you are getting, and you can do the same for .NET also. And in my opinion, of course, .NET will surpass Java. So as I said, that I will always suggest you to go with .NET, because .NET, like I am following .NET since last, I can say 4-5 years, when I started participating in community activities and started following the .NET news. Apart from that, I was, of course, I am also working in .NET technology since last 18-20 years, since the time .NET was released. Since my college days, I have started working in .NET technologies, like learning and working in .NET technologies, and right now .NET is kind of growing exponentially every month, every years. So yes, there is lot of scope and lot of jobs in .NET in Indian market. Next question is by Om Kaushik. He's asking, how can we deploy an ASP.NET web application on a server? Om, it primarily depends on which web server you want to deploy your ASP.NET web application. And also it depends on what kind of ASP.NET web application is yours. Is it a .NET Framework ASP.NET web application, or is it a .NET Core or .NET 5.6 ASP.NET web application, or is it a ASP.NET MVC web application? So it primarily depends on where you are or which web server you are deploying. If you are deploying on Azure App Service, or if you are deploying on any if you are deploying on Azure App Service, it's very easy. You can just right click on the project, select publish, and then you can give your Azure credential and everything, and it will just deploy directly on Azure. Another way is, of course, you can right click on right click on the project file, click on select the publish from the pop-up menu and publish it in a folder, and then copy all the published file onto the web server wherever you are deploying with the help of FTP access. So it primarily depends on which web server or where on which server you are deploying. Different hosting platforms or different hosting providers have different methods of deployment. So the best option to know this would be to read the documentation of the hosting platform or the web server where you are deploying your ASP.NET web application. But the simplest way to publish a web application is, of course, just right click on the application, change the mode of the application from debug to release, then right click on the application and click the publish submenu from the pop-up menu, and you can publish it into a folder or into a zip file, and then you can use that zip file or folder anywhere, wherever you want to deploy that application. Basically, this is the way how freelancer or how beginner developers deploy your application. Usually in enterprises, this deployment is done by a team or by automated process, which is called as CI/CD process. So you can follow that process also. You will have to talk to the team of your company, the DevOps teams or the network team of your company to deploy your application. So as I said, it basically depends on where you want to deploy your application, and you have to follow the documentation of that particular web server. So these were my answers to your tech and career related queries in this episode of Techie Tuesdays. If you like your questions to be put in next episode of Techie Tuesdays, you can DM me your questions with hashtag Techie Tuesdays on any social media platform. All my social media handles are Techie Rathor. I hope you like my answers, and if you like my answers, then please hit that like button, subscribe to my channel and share this video with your friends, family and colleagues. So until my next video, take care, bye bye.